Lesufi today visited a school in Soweto. This after a grade 8 learner at the school in Diepkloof was raped, allegedly by 3 fellow learners while attending a school orientation camp in Deur at the weekend. He joins us now in the studio. Very good evening to you, MEC, and thank you so much for speaking to us. Of course, we'll be speaking to you about this and other matters, but let's start with the school. You had called for further action to be taken against the teachers, given that the alleged perpetrators have been suspended. Have the teachers been held to account?
Yes, we started a process. We've appointed an independent team just to gather evidence to assist us to have the basis to charge the teachers, because if you suspend them, within 48 hours must give reasons why you've suspended them and initiate a process. So we've put a team. We're meeting with parents of the school on Saturday, and the police have already finalized the investigation. So we really believe we've got concrete evidence. Immediately after the Saturday meeting with parents, we'll know what action to take. But we are humbled that the support that they've given to learners and as well as the perpetrators is a support that will ensure that they're available when you need them.
So you had said that there was a team of psychoanalysts, I think, that were going to the school too.
Yes.
So what are they going to do? And is this something that you're looking at spreading to other schools? Because we've seen quite a lot of reports lately of sexual assault, of just general assault in schools, even GBV, incidents of GBV. So it's very worrying, the escalating number of criminal activities at schools.
Indeed, Tepi, actually today in the Deur Park, we got sad news as well. Two of our learners raped a girl outside the school premises, and then they only reported the matter to us this morning. So we are right when we say we are seeing this kind of cases. But we have to work very hard. We must not lose hope. We have to ensure that the identification process of culprits is strengthened, and the disciplinary processes of dealing with this matter is also attended. Because if you do that, we'll discourage those that want to do things. But it's part of the broader society. I mean,
this is my point. So what do we do? How do we...
If you check the statistics released by the police annually, I always ask myself, are we living in a war zone? Because those figures are just unbelievable. And we need to find a way of ensuring that society support us and we stop this kind of madness that is taking place within our school premises.
You can vet teachers, but you can't vet learners who are responsible for some of this. So what next? Well,
we have to be harsh, we have to be strong, without necessarily leaving out the element of rehabilitation, but don't transfer the problem. If a teacher is as guilty as a learner, you have to ensure that you strengthen your hand and ensure the system functions very well. And I'm convinced that our system functions very well. It's just that we have to accelerate the disciplinary processes and take into consideration the needs of the young.
So let's talk about the new admissions regulations, or the feeder zones and the rules around it. There was quite a bit of skepticism, even criticism against you for saying these are really artificial rules. This is manipulation of the school system. It's not going to change anything. How do you feel going forward that now this is what is going to form schools?
I'm excited, let me be honest. I can't hold my excitement. I remember when I was a student, when we demanded that doors of learning should be open for all. We never expected that responsibility will lie on our shoulders. We thought at that time it will be other people that have to open those doors. This legislation literally opens the doors of learning to our people. That never and never again that the learner will be denied access to education on the basis that they were born in a wrong area or they're speaking a different language.
But there have been rules before. I mean, my colleague Stephen Kroetus was making the point that sometimes if you just look at the issue of queues, based on proximity alone, some of those parents would be able to get in far easier. If you look at the issue of how some of those parents have to go back to work, they don't have the level of freedom that maybe the richer parents would have in staying in line. Does it really resolve the problem?
You know, the pain of being looked at, how you are clothed, how you speak, what do you wear, what car do you drive before people can give you admissions. That's humiliating. You can't allow that. There are some people, while we are still at the gate, before you enter the school premises, they tell you the school is full.
And that's my point. That's the reality. So you would like to change that reality, but it's ingrained in people.
It has changed from today. That is why I'm excited. We have literally opened the doors of learning and culture to our people. No one will be denied to go to a school and be told that this school is the African-speaking only school. No one will be denied a school on the basis that the Group Areas Act allocated that person in a certain area. All of us are equal before the law, and today the education system says every learner belongs to our school system.
But don't you think there's some schools who are still resistant, who will lean on preferential rights? Allow me to finish this, because the fact is some of them will say, I'm sorry, we're full, that's why we can't accept you, and lean on those preferential rights, giving them to either siblings of those learners or just on the simple basis that these pupils are closer than others.
That is why I've changed the law. It's a law. It's not moots. It's not.
How do you guard the spirit of the law?
No, let me tell you, SABC. As of today, all school policies that are related to admissions are obsolete, meaningless. All schools, as of today, they must submit their new admissions policy that must be certified by the head of the Department of Education. So any policy that is existing now, it's dead, buried. All new policies need to be approved afresh. And to approve it, you must give us evidence that you convened a parents' meeting and parents at that school resolved one on language, curriculum, feeder zone, and the language.
Will you then override the schools? Because you are saying in cases where schools are saying we can't afford to bring in new teachers, you'll say, okay, if we need to extend the school and resources, we, the department, will take on the cost. Are you saying that this is the law you'll enforce now?
You remember the story of Ufarfal?
Yes, I do.
The argument was interpretation. They say the school is full, we say the school is not full. They say they can't afford a teacher, we say we can provide those resources, but they say we don't want our resources. So now we've passed a law that clears all the gray areas, and we're excited about it because all facilities belong to all our children. If a parent can afford to take their children to a certain school, why should they be told that?
But what if they can't afford to, but they would like better quality education?
If they can't afford it, it's not necessarily free. If they can't afford to pay, they apply. If the SGB grant them that permission that they can't pay, the state pays the bill. So it's not necessarily free. The state will continue to pay the bill.
I'm curious, in cases where parents either don't know their rights, or they live in such a subjugated society that they don't really have a voice, so to speak, to raise some of these issues, because you're not going to know about every single learner or every single school that is resistant, that refuses to keep to the letter and the spirit of the law. What do you do in those instances when you find out too late?
That's why they vote for government. The government must be their representative. It must be their eyes, there must be their ears, but most importantly, it must be their protector. That's how the state must function. We must not subject our people to pain. You know how painful it is to be rejected, not because our child is not capable or talented.
But I'm curious, you say that's why you vote for government, but then we're talking about the state in this case. The state has to be the one that looks after the rights and the interests. Yes. But you're talking about the government as in a party? Are you saying that only the ANC?
No, I'm not even speaking about party politics. I'm speaking about an institution that has been voted to run government. And that institution is called provincial government or national government. It must step in if people's rights are trampled. Because if you don't do that, you're denying people their right. It's a piece to be denied, or your child to be denied access to a quality education purely because they were born in a wrong area or they speak a wrong language. It's wrong. It's unacceptable.
Okay. In a word, are you going to take any intransigence to court, and are you resourceful, ready to do that?
We are ready. That is why we passed the law.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Gauteng Education MEC Panyaza Lesufi.